Well, so today we are going to talk about HRT again. So if you saw my previous video, actually, it's been a few videos. I did a video covering how to get HRT in the US anyway, and I thought I was like, well, I probably should make like a video where cover what it does. I couldn't think of a good way to do it, so we're gonna do a bad way, and we're gonna make a tier list. You've probably seen like a billion tier list videos already, so I'm not gonna beat around the bush too much. I'm gonna talk about what I'm covering. So basically, I'm gonna be covering mostly body changes and emotional changes. I'm not gonna go into like super detail on certain things like there is like a higher chance of blood clots or breast cancer. Stuff like that is kind of outside of my the thing. It's outside of the zone of what I want to cover today. But that is stuff that you should look into. And I'm going to talk about my rating system. I'm basically rating it on three different points: is how much I like it, my experience with it, and generally how other people feel about it. And last thing is a warning, because I'm going to have to talk about sex stuff in this, and if that makes you uncomfortable, maybe this isn't the video for you. And if not, just a warning ahead of time. So let's get to the first point, and it's probably the biggest one. We're gonna talk about breast growth. So this is like probably one of the biggest things you'll hear about HRT is like breast growth. It's happened to me. Second, I have to take out the pads. It's sort of happened to me, except this is also padded, and I can't take those ones out because they're inside it, and I'm not doing that. But but I solemnly swear that there has been development. I've been keeping track. Is this what you come to my channel for? Watch me put my boobs back in my shirt? But yeah, it is the thing that happens. It generally takes around like at the very least 3 months to start, and it can go on for like 2 to 5 years. Some people have said even up to 10 years. And again, like with all this stuff, it does vary depending on you and your body and your genetics and like your dosages. There's so many like variables. Uh, oh, but one thing that's like very common with all of them is it's gonna hurt. I've heard lots of people talks about aches and pains and stuff. I haven't really had that much. It only hurts every once in a while, and it's really not that bad. But biggest thing to avoid: don't jump a lot. That will hurt like crazy. That's the reason why if you watch my clothes video, which is like 2 months ago now, is that's why I say buy a sports bra if you're gonna work out, because otherwise it's gonna hurt real badly. And also, there's a possibility of something similar to lactation happening, uh, which is usually fine. If it's like excessive, you should talk to your doctor. But I feel like oop, I was on the wrong layer. I feel like it's pretty obvious where this goes, at least for me. This is like an S tier change. It's fantastic. It's like the thing like almost everybody wants. Speaking of, actually no, that's actually not a good transition at all. It's a transition. Uh, my fan is freaking out. Second point is decrease in genital size. Obviously, this is one of the things people might feel a little uncomfortable hearing me talk about, but my job to talk about weird body stuff. Right, but basically what's happening is because your tissue is not receiving as much testosterone anymore, is that it's like turning off and atrophying, which is what causes it to get smaller. Uh, through this, you can also experience erectile dysfunction, which doesn't necessarily happen if you like keep working it out, basically. I'm sure you can figure out what I mean by that. Uh, but the skin can also become more sensitive, which could can be good or bad. Damage is easier, but other stuff too. Uh, it also becomes more moist, which is kind of weird, but and also it smells different. Apparently, I haven't really noticed, but I'm also not like checking. I'm not shoving. I'm not taking out like my ribs and checking like this. Does it smell different? Does it? I don't know. And lastly, the color of it can change. It gets darker for some reason. I have no idea why. And the texture can also change, much like I said with it getting softer. But I think I haven't really noticed a ton of shrinkage for myself, be that what it may, but I actually am pretty for it because it makes wearing certain like a lot of the underwear I wear easier. So like I'm not like I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I wasn't using it to begin anyway. And if, you know, being bigger is actually better for like bottom surgery and stuff, as I've heard, I think I'm gonna put this at A. I know some other people may not be as into it, but it's my take. Let's go. Next one. This one is kind of tied to the previous one, which is decreased sperm and fertility. As you might have guessed, since your body's not getting the things it thinks it needs, certain things are going to stop working, which is, the point. So this means basically you can sterilize yourself, which also, even though a lot of people says it's permanent, it is not necessarily permanent. It is possible to reverse it, I believe, in some cases. Haven't looked into it because I don't want to. I'm not interested in having kids. I can't get pregnant, and neither can my partner, and I think I would be a terrible mom. For real, though. I don't like kids. It's not worth the time. But like that, like, so basically the sperm goes away, so, like, everything becomes clear. There's no white, if you know what I'm talking about. This, is also something I'm not, like, super into. I don't care that much. So I think it's like, oop, I'm still on the wrong layer. This is So I'm not sure where I'd put this, like, it's not, like, something I'm graring for, but it's not something I'm, like, super against, so I guess C? Like, that seems about right, right? Alright. Next one is reduced muscle mass, or decrease in muscle mass. So basically, again, your muscles are atrophying because they are not being supplied with testosterone as much, and also it becomes more difficult to gain muscles, like, but that's honestly, that's really neither here nor there for me. I mean, if you look at me, I'm very small. My arms are tiny. I wasn't exactly in shape beforehand. Now let's see. Is that in frame? Maybe this one. There's not much happening, I don't think. I am still able to open pickle jars, so I guess that's that. This is something I don't really care about either. It's not like I was a bodybuilder or something before. So I think that one also lands on C. Next one is decreased sex drive. That'd be this one. So basically, this is a temporary thing that happens when you start and may come back after like 3 to 6 months. It also depends on your medication. And also, it may feel different when it comes back, so you may not know what it is. And honestly, I don't care. I was not a like sexually motivated person before I started it. I'm still not really. Some people may find this a bit like I don't want that to happen, but generally again, if you you can talk to your doctors about switching some of your medications around and you may be able to get that back to where it was. I'd say this one also kind of lands in C. It's like more of a I don't care, but I'm not really against it type of thing. Anyway, next one is a lot. Next one is emotional changes. There's a lot of these, so I kind of just threw them all into one section. So, first thing is, you may have some emotional expansion, which I'm just going to talk about what I want. That sounds fantastic. So basically, for me anyway, my emotions basically are broken or don't work, or I don't know how to interpret them. I don't know what's up with that, but I've never been like a highly emotional person, and that just sounds being able to feel something sounds fantastic to me. But on the other side is you can also experience mood swings, which that just kind of comes with the territory. Uh, you may have better sleep. That has not happened for me, but I think that's because I barely use any energy during the day, and I may have insomnia. I'm not certain. I need to talk to a doctor about that one when I have money. You also might become a bit more extroverted, but I think that's not as much of like an effect from like the hormones you're taking. It's because you are not repressing yourself anymore. And also on a flip side of that, things may feel like bigger than you, and also you may feel less confident. Part of that is probably coming from the hormones, but also it might be because you're, you know, not safe in most places that you're living. That's my opinion. I've definitely experienced that. I was already like a super anxious person, and it has not gotten better. I hate going anywhere alone, especially bad times. I just don't like being alone. Nothing bad has happened when I've been alone. I just don't like going anywhere by myself. And you're also less likely to start arguments because testosterone apparently also improves your confidence, which, checks out. I mean, that's a good thing to have, but there's that. Last thing is, like, you will probably be able to cry, which to me, that sounds great. In my adult life, I have been able to cry, I think, 3 times. When I was a kid, I probably even less. Uh, one time was before I started estrogen, which was there was a release of a single from my favorite band who I hadn't heard music from in 5 years, which that one was really weird because only when I was crying. I don't know what that means. Um, Second time was because of Final Fantasy 14, which was after I started E. Um, there's a specific scene in Walker involving a character and his parents. That's about it. I won't go into details. And the third time was over a personal thing, which I won't go into detail, but this is something I'm pretty into. I honestly wish it did more because honestly, not that much has changed. So I'm thinking that maybe I just don't know how to interpret my emotions or something. I think I'm putting this on A. Next one is fat redistribution, which is very big, I think. So basically, estrogen tells your body that it needs to start sending fat to different parts of the body instead of where it was sending it before. So now it will send it to like thighs, butt, and hips instead of like mostly stomach, I believe, is where he sends it for people. It also change. This is also something really interesting. I didn't know. It also changes the center of your gravity because it's moving your center of gravity down lower, and that also changes how you walk. Just so out. Some of these things are absolutely wild, but and I can't believe some of these I didn't know. It also thins out your neck, chin, and your jawline, and it causes your lips and upper cheeks to puff up. This is something that's absolutely crazy to me. I didn't know about this, but apparently over time it may actually change the shape of your eye and might alter your vision, and it could also very minorly alter the color of your eye, which is like crazy. I didn't know that. And yeah, I don't think there's like any reason why you wouldn't want this. This sounds fantastic. Though I guess it could make your eyesight worse, maybe. I didn't really look into it too much, but I think that's an S. That's like what about this would be bad? Next one is less morning erections. This is something that like I don't know. Basically, it's the same as what I said earlier. It's from atrophy. Basically, it is also preventable if you like I said, keep exercising and keep using it. but it can become more difficult. It's not like too much to say here. It's very similar to the previous point. And honestly, I don't really care. I didn't have to deal with spontaneous stuff that much anyway. So I think probably right. Actually, let's put on B. B's a little lonely. Put it right there. Next one, this is also some stuff I didn't know. Sensory changes. So basically, this means you can have improved smell, improved color perception. You might even become less clumsy, which has not happened. That hasn't happened for me, by the way. I'm still clumsy. Your the way you taste things may be different. So, like for example, my source gave was that cilantro may taste more soapy, and wine and chocolate might be more flavorful. I like chocolate a lot already, so just making something I like better. That's really cool. I didn't know about any of this, but it's pretty neat. I'm selecting the wrong layers. I'm thinking B or A. I didn't really know about it, so I guess I'll put it on B. Didn't learn about it until I was researching for the video this week. Next one is pattern baldness, or the opposite of. Taking E will actually tell your body to send more blood flow to the scalp, and that can increase and may even reactivate hair that's been lost to pattern baldness or like a receding hairline. Your hair may become thicker and stronger, allowing it to grow longer, which I think sounds fantastic. I like long hair a lot. This is another thing that is absolutely allowed, is that your hair color may change, which I assume is very minor, and the texture may become closer to your mom's instead of your dad's, which is like, that's real. That's so cool. I know like people say HRT is magic, but like for real though. I think this, like, I wasn't gonna have issues with it, I don't think. So I'm thinking if I was someone who had like pattern involvement that ran in her family, I would definitely have this at like S, but it doesn't. It ran on my on my stepdad's side of the family, so sorry for them. Next one is another wild thing is pelvis widening. So basically there's two things that happen here. Shifting the weight can cause the tendons to stretch down by your pelvis and can cause rotation of the bones to change, being closer to cis woman's, and also can cause your butt to stick out more, but also cause a loss of height, which might be contentious for some people, from like 1 to 2 inches at most. That would take me down from, let's see, I'm 5'6" right now, or was last time I measured that, take me down to like 5'4" or 5'5", which, what, I don't care. I would prefer to be shorter, but 5'6" is still like barely on a taller side for cis women. So like, I'm pretty okay with that. It actually, another thing is hip rotation, which can happen if you start HRT early enough. Basically before your pelvis fuses, which has big variance in when that happens. Oldest they've found is like 25. I started taking HRT right before my 25th birthday, so like I'm sure I missed that by a wide margin. But after like long observation of some people who have been on HRT for a long time, like 30, 40 years, it has been observed to happen. I think that's really cool. I think let's go with like B, I think. Again, it's like not something I'm super worried about, but I would be totally into if it does happen. Next one is fantastic. This one is reduced body hair. I don't think I really need to explain this one that much, but body hair doesn't fully go away. I have to fully point this out because some people think it does. No, a lot of cis women just work hard to make you think that. But for example, your facial hair won't go away because it's doing something different with the chemicals, but a lot of your other body hair thins and doesn't grow as fast. And I've noticed especially hair on my chest, mainly it's on my upper chest and some of my arms, is that it gets lighter, so it's a lot harder to see. and it is much thinner, so you can probably go longer without shaving. One downside I can see from this is that lighter hair is harder to remove via lasers, but lighter hair also blends in with the body a lot better, so most people don't see it anyway. But like for real, this is like one of the best things. I hate body hair so much. It sucks. Why why do we still have it? That's an S. Uh, the next one is softer skin and less oil, which this is great. So basically, less tea in your body makes the skin a lot softer and thinner. So, there are some downsides and upsides to that will cause you to get colder easier. And I assume you damage the skin a lot easier too. It promotes your skin becoming softer and brighter. And it can also causes a drop in like having a lot of skin oils, which is, just great. It's so fantastic, dude. I love it. Should be so much easier for people to get this stuff. Just like it makes your body so much better. Like my skin was actually already pretty nice, so I think it's gonna go down to an A. But if like I had like rougher skin or something like that, that would definitely be higher. Next one is this one. It's body size changes. So this is a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that happens here, so I threw them all in together. So you can have increased flexibility, which I haven't really noticed or experienced, but I also don't, stretch or try to do anything flexible. Your hands and wrists can become slimmer, which sounds fantastic. My hands are already kind of small and you know, lengthy, so I haven't really noticed anything. But smaller sounds great. Your feet can decrease in size, which will probably make it easier to find shoes because women's shoes are just really small. And you can get thinner and softer fingernails, which is not something I've looked into because I have horrible anxiety and I cannot stop chewing on my fingernails and it sucks. I've been trying to stop this for decades and it's still not happening. And you also will tend to be more susceptible to being cold. Like I mentioned before, since your body's like less thick, you're not retaining heat as much. I have noticed that I've been a bit colder, but I've also had a big change in environment, so who knows what is what. But all those sound really good. Just getting smaller is great. Go for it. Next one is something I just put here is like miscellaneous body stuff because there's a lot. This video would be much longer if I gave each one of these specifically a thing. So, let me reveal miscellaneous body changes. So, just a few of these is your sweat patterns can change, which is that's bonkers. Is so basically instead of it like just being in like two places, it's a whole body situation now, which I guess can feel bad for some people. I understand that. You have a reduction in change of body odor, which is that's I've said it a lot. It's amazing what this stuff does. It's not really something I've noticed too much, but I don't spend all my time smelling myself. And last one is that you may have reduced tolerance for caffeine and alcohol, which honestly, I don't drink, but actually being able to feel affected by caffeine actually sounds pretty good. I've never really felt affected by it, but who knows if that's just me being also not knowing how to interpret stuff. So let's see. I mean, I'm not like super married to it. I'm indifferent, so I think I'm going to put it on B. The next one is sexual changes. So basically, your erogenous zones on your body can change, and they'll tend to be stronger. I haven't really experienced that, but again, my emotions and like senses for my body are all screwed up and like numb. I don't know. It's really weird. I don't know why my body's like this. Orgasms are different. Again, not something I'll go into too much detail because I think that's kind of outside of my purvey, I guess, or whatever. this is also a weird, rare thing, is that your attractions may change or your sexuality may shift a little bit. Basically, the reasoning I've been told for this one is that basically you were having like secondhand dysphoria when you were when you like looked at other people. So like say maybe you didn't like guys before you started transitioning, but after you transitions up to some point, you realize, oh, I actually do like guys. I just was projecting my own dysphoria on them when you were looking at them or something like that. For me, I don't know. It hasn't really happened that much. If anything, I've been more gay for girls. So who knows? Maybe it goes both ways. But yeah, that's it's all well and good, I think. So let's see. I think that's probably a B. B or A. Let's go with B. And now for the last one, which is again an absolutely wild thing, is period-like symptoms. So obviously you're not going to experience like a classical period. You're not going to shoot blood out of your body. If you are doing that, see a doctor, please. That sounds dangerous. This has also not been like confirmed by doctors, but it has been like a recurring thing in a lot of trans women. So it's more or less there. You can experience cramping, bloating, intestinal issues, emotional instability, joint pains, nipple tenderness, acne, fatigue, appetite changes, spontaneous shifts in libido, and changes in genital odor, like at a regular basis. Just like I assume it's the estrogen telling your body's like, oh, you gotta get the stuff for the baby that you're not gonna have. To be honest, I feel like some people this could be actually for some people this could actually be pretty like gender affirming. For me, I'm not super into it. Like I said before, I don't want to have kids, and like in like the sci-fi future, like 10, 15 years when we can actually get like transplanted uteruses for trans femme people, I wouldn't really be interested, I don't think. Because like I said, I don't want to have kids, and there's like no reason for me to go through this stuff if I'm not gonna, get pregnant or have kids. So I honestly think this is a D. It could be higher for other people that, like I said, it might be a gender affirming thing for them. Not so for me. I've talked to a few people who feel that way, but yeah. And that's the HRT Transfem changes tier list. I hope I at least gave you some stuff to think about. I'm going to link to the websites I used for sources in the description of this video. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope I'll see you again next month. I have a special video that's different, supposedly. But yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you next month.